back before Pennsic 4. Balin of Tor fought to win the crown tourney in Caid, and he chose for his consort a young girl. And this wouldn't have been a problem until Balin won crown tourney. And it wasn't really a problem, except that the young girl he had chosen for his consort was then but 10 years old. Well, there being no rule against that at the time, there's nothing to be done but to actually make her the crown princess of Caid. So she was crowned princess, and we flash forward now to Pennsic 4. And as most of the people in this room would know, Pennsic 4 brought rain, a lot of rain. There are multiple songs commemorating how much rain Pennsic 4 brought. Well, on one of the nicer days of Pennsic 4, the princess took off, skipping and hopping down the back alleyways of Pennsic. And along down this same road comes a duke with his entourage, going, "Make way, make way, make way for the duke," taking up the entire road. The duke, leading the entourage, did not notice the princess skipping down the road, and bumps her, and she lands plop in the mud, and continues on his way without noticing a thing. The princess picks herself up, crying, and goes back to her parents, who are, of course, furious. They contact the crown of Caid, and later that day, everyone is summoned forth to court. The king asks his herald to summon forth the duke. Well, this was a very well-to-do duke, and so he thinks that he's receiving an award. And so he parades his way up to the throne and kneels before the crown. Well, up until this point, the princess was not sitting in her throne. But at this, she comes out and sits down and looks down at the duke on his knees. And the king turns to the princess and asks, "Is this the man you met earlier today?" And the princess nods her head yes. And the king turns back to the duke and says, "You pushed a princess. That was not very wise. When you push a princess, your chivalry is merely disguise," and explains to the duke what had happened. Well, the duke goes, but, and sputters the words that would seal his fate. You see, in my kingdom, people yield when a duke takes the field. If she'd been wearing her crown, and at this, the princess cuts in, somewhat unapologetically, and says, "Well, in my kingdom, a lady is a lady, and you don't push them into the mud."